Welcome back to Designsmith. In this video, we're continuing our weekly favorites series where I take a look at some posters and designs from Pinterest and let you know which ones were my favorite from this past week. Before we get started, please subscribe to support the channel. Alright, so first up here is this really cool design, and what I love about this is the use of the colors right here. I love how the sections have their own little colors that are going on right here, and this is actually pretty simple to do. I wouldn't say this necessarily easy, but what you do is, let me lock this layer really quickly, is I'm going to grab the brush tool. Actually, no, I'm going to grab the pencil tool. Yeah, let's do that instead. So I'm going to grab the pencil tool, and we're just going to draw. Actually, before I draw, let me do this. Let's turn it over to smooth because we want it to be a little bit smoother rather than more accurate. So you just trace along the head right here. And I'm not going to do the entire thing, but I'm just going to show you in general how it's done. So I'm going to go all the way down to probably the back of the shoulder right here. So we have a path right here. So what we're going to do is go over here and click on type tool and hold it down to get type on a path tool. And then you just click right here on this line, and that's going to lay down some type. And let's resize this. And we'll go to all caps right here, and let's just get this down. Doesn't have to be exact. We're just showing you how to do it. And then let's align the text to left. And we're going to grab this little line right here with our direct select tool. And we're just going to bring it over to the very beginning of the line. And I'm just going to type a whole bunch of random letters. And those letters are going to follow that path that we've got laid down right there. And then to change the colors, you just select the letters of the colors you want to change. And then just go over to your swatch panel over here and change those colors. So there you go, a very simple technique that results in a very cool design. All right, next up is this really awesome event poster. It looks like White Night, 29th through the 30th, November of 2023. What I love about this poster is the effect, of course, but the fact that it's still legible. Sometimes I see posters where designers will try to create something like this, and it just ends up a big mess because you can't actually read what it says. But I love that this has just enough of legibility to where you know exactly what it says, even if you're reading it from a distance. But the use of colors here is just really cool. And let's zoom in. I have no idea what this type is actually saying right here. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but it's also a smaller file size. So I've just kind of grabbed a snapshot of a JPEG from Pinterest. So it's obviously not the best example to use, but it's totally fine to get like an overall picture of this design itself. And I do love how it's filling in the negative spaces on the poster itself, but it's not feeling the need to fill in every single empty area with content just for the sake of filling it in. The only thing that I'm questioning is this line right here. I don't know if it's part of the original design. I would say that it's probably not because it's the only element on the poster that's that color. Everything else is the same color. So I don't really know where that came from. It could be a marking of some kind that someone put on there before they uploaded it to Pinterest. I have no idea. But overall, it's a very cool design, and it certainly caught my eye this week. All right, next up is this really cool poster that uses the intertwine method. And I've actually done several videos on this particular technique, but if you want to see me recreate this poster, let me know down in the comments. But first off, I really love the colors on this poster. This could work really well for like a Glengarry Glen Ross poster just because of the colors, and I think that that would be a really cool application for this. But you've got your uppercase A, and then you've got like a V right here that looks like it has a bridge going across it, and the designer either used Intertwine or the Pathfinder tool to create these overlaps. And the layout itself is Swiss design. I would be interested to see the grid on this if there was one. And something that I love that you don't see a whole lot in Swiss designs is the inclusion of a serif typeface right down here. Now, of course, I realize that's a logo of some kind, but it just looks so cool right here. It really adds a lot of class to this particular design, and I just love it. I love everything about this poster. All right, next up is not a poster, but it's just kind of an overall design concept that you could use inside of a poster. And what I love about this is the simplicity and the fact that all of these very simple shapes, which are just all slightly rounded squares, are making up an image of a city. And I just love stuff like this. I love when I see something that is kind of complex looking, but made up of very simple shapes. And if you're curious on how it's made, I'll just show you like a little part of it, and then from there you can actually expand on it. So I'm going to duplicate these going across this way. And then to quickly duplicate these, I would go up here to Effect, Distort and Transform, and Transform. So we'll keep the scaling exactly the same, and then we'll move these vertically down by 1/4 inch. And then we're going to click on copies right here and then just enlarge that number and then hit OK. And then from this point, you would need to expand this because this is an effect on one specific iteration of that row of squares. So these are not their own objects until you expand them. So go up here to Object and Expand Appearance. And even after you expand the appearance, they're all still grouped together. So you can't grab just one square by itself. So what we're going to do is select all of these and we're going to ungroup everything. And then from this point, you can go in and actually take out any squares that you want to. And it can be kind of a tedious process, but you see in general how this is done. And then you just keep repeating that technique until you have something like this. Anytime I see something like this, it makes me think of the chemical plant zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And while this isn't necessarily my style of home decor, every time I see this, I just want to frame it and put it on my wall. So overall, a very cool design with an interesting technique on how to make it. All right, the last design we're going to be talking about is a book cover, and this design is made up of old school OS X windows. I love the concept and the execution. However, one thing that I would like to see with this is the inclusion of the Myriad typeface, because during the time that OS X came out, that was the font that they were using. And I think that using that font would really unify this entire design. I haven't read this book yet, but I definitely would, based solely on the cover. It's just a really cool design, and I love how all of these little elements were recreated, especially these little circles right here. I actually really do miss those glassy circles, and I miss skeuomorphism like you wouldn't believe. It's something that I do wish would make some kind of a comeback. All right, well, here's everything that we took a look at today. Let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. If you'd like to see me recreate any of these specific posters, let me know that too down in the comments. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.